Louis, about 30 minutes away from the first game of the Norris Division Finals between the Blues and the Minnesota North Stars. Welcome to our Stanley Cup special here on Channel 4, Gateway to the Cup. Hi, everyone, from the arena. I'm John Kelly, alongside a couple of ex-Blues, Bernie Federko and Bruce Affleck, and it should be fun. It was a great series against the Red Wings. It took 7 games. The North Stars knocked off the Blackhawks in 6, and now the Blues and North Stars meet for the 8th time in their 24-year history. And Bruce Affleck, your thoughts on the keys to this series for the Blues?
I think it starts right in net with goaltender John Casey. 4 of the 6 games against the Hawks, he was spectacular. Then you move up to their defense. Mark Tenorti has been a force. He's 6'4". He moves up into the play very well, and their other defense like to do that also. So the Blues are going to have to contain the North Stars' defense.
Well, one man who saw a lot of the North Stars over his career, Bernie Federko. And Bernie, what are your thoughts on this series?
Well, John, they've got so much speed up front. Guys like Neil Broughton and Dave Gagne, those are 2 forwards that they're going to really have to watch. 2 centermen that can make it happen. Bobby Smith, Brian Propp this year were added. Those 2 guys have had a lot of Stanley Cup experience. Brian Propp with Philadelphia Flyers last year with Boston. Bobby Smith, of course, won the Stanley Cup while he was in Montreal. So they're going to have to make sure they shut down them. They're going to have to watch the power play. Minnesota's power play scored 15 goals against Chicago in that series. So certainly they're going to have to watch that. The Blues are going to have to be disciplined, not take any stupid penalties. And I think that's where they're going to have to shut down Minnesota. If they can do that, they're going to be able to win this series, John.
Well, let's hope the Blues can get to the 3rd round for the first time since 1986. It's the Blues and Minnesota North Stars. In the first round, the Blues came from behind, only the 8th team in NHL history to come back from a 3-1 deficit, and we'll check the highlights from that first round when we come right back.
Tonight's St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup Playoff Special is brought to you by your Greater St. Louis Ford dealers on both sides of the river, your local dairy farmers, American Dairy Association. Everybody knows that milk is America's health kit. Blockbuster Video. Wow, what a difference. And your local Hyundai dealers. Test drive his full line of quality cars. Yes, Hyundai.
You are looking live at the arena in St. Louis. Both clubs are out on the ice for the warm-up. We get set for Game 1 of this Norris Division Final between the North Stars and Blues. I'm John Kelly along with Bruce Affleck. And Bruce, the Blues survived a big scare in round 1.
They certainly did, John. You know, down 3-1. Everybody knows the game's physical, but the mental toughness, I think Brian Sutter and his coaching staff have to be commended in the job they did to get the Blues back into this. If I looked at that series, maybe a turning point. Game 6, the Blues are up 1-0. They're going to get a penalty, and Probert takes a penalty to nullify the power play for Detroit, and the Blues went on to win that game and, of course, the series.
Well, there were a lot of highlights from that first round series. The Blues lost Game 1, fell behind 3-1, and came back to win in very dramatic fashion. Let's go back in time and look at the first round series. It was more of a relief than a victory cry. After 7 tense games, the Blues could celebrate. Finally, it was over, and the outpouring of emotion at the arena resembled a religious revival as more than 18,000 fans and 20 determined players joined together as one. In the Blues locker room after the game, reporters mobbed the victors. This night belonged to the Blues, but for much of the series, it was the underdogs from Detroit who stole the headlines.
Headlines read, these are the worst of times. I do believe it's true.
A few weeks back, no one expected the Post-Dispatch to read like this. No one, that is, except a scrappy bunch of Red Wings.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. It's it's first game of playoffs, and there's a good feeling here. And every time playoffs come around, I'm ready.
When we have played the way we can match up with anyone in the league. So it's just a matter of us getting our game in order and playing good, solid hockey, and we'll be a team to reckon with.
Probert on left wing. Fights off a check from the hard Yzerman, a shot. He scores! When Detroit's Steve Yzerman scored to make it 2-0, you sort of got the feeling something was wrong. Yzerman and his Wings weren't following the regular season script. They weren't supposed to win a game against the Blues. About 7 minutes later, Stevie Wonder does it again, and his Wings are flying high. Though the Blues rally behind Brett Hull's 2 goals, it's simply too little too late. When the Blues do break through, goaltender Tim Shovelday is there to greet them.
Off the boards to Oates, left point to Brown, back to Oates, moving in, top of the circle, he shoots! Great save, Shovelday and Zombo.
In on left wing, Oates can't shoot it. Gino Cavalier drive! And Shovelday in arms Gino.
It was one of those games where they crashed the net and they got a lot of, chances around the crease, and a lot of times, the puck hit you look great, and tonight the puck hit me, and it's fortunate enough that they stayed out.
It's the morning before Game 2 in St. Louis, and the Wings bask in the glory of the warm Missouri sun and their opening night victory.
Right now we feel pretty good and we feel confident we can beat St. Louis.
Now for Racine, a shot, they score! Early in the first period, Racine the player makes Racine the forecaster look good, scoring to put the Wings up 1-0. A bit later, bad boy Bob Probert puts his vaunted fist to good use, notching the game's second goal. But the Blues fight back. In the third period, Jeff Brown blasts one in from the point. Then newcomer Dan Quinn ties the game on a pretty play, setting the stage for the Golden Brett. Dallas is there for Detroit. Knocked off the puck by Oates. The Hall, a shot. Hall again. Shoots, he scores! Brett Hall! With the Blues' victory almost in hand, it's time for Bob Probert to flex his angry muscles. Antagonist Garth Butcher gets a stick in the chest, and goaltender Vince Riendeau a shot in the chops. For these crimes, Probert received just 2 minutes, but the Blues win the game, tying the series at 1.
Butcher and Probert were together. Obviously, the goaltender was within striking distance, came over, said something. Probert punched out at him, and he took a little bit of a tumble that, would probably put him in Hollywood if he had that kind of verbal talent as well.
What Bob did, that's up to him. I don't know why he would do something like that. He's had a good comeback so far, and he starts doing stuff like that. That's up to him, and we're just going to go out and play the same game like we had done it last game and hit everybody we can.
Detroit's Joe Louis Arena is the site of Game 3, a place appropriately named for a player like the Wings' pugnacious Probert. The Blues are calling for his suspension following his assault on Butcher and Riendeau. But tonight, Probert is in uniform, and the Wings are ready to fly.
And it comes ahead to Carson, 2-on-1 with Primo. Carson shoots, he scores!
This one ends in a 5-2 Detroit victory, and the Wings now lead the series 2-1.
It's a joke. I'm sure the publicity hype on this had a lot to do with his decision, too.
A disgusted Bob Probert is suspended and will sit out Game 4. That's good news for the Blues, who can't afford another loss.
The pass to Quinn. On to Hall, a shot. He scores!
Brett Hall's brilliant third-period goal briefly gives the Blues a lift. But the Probertless Wings put this one away with goals from Zombo and Fenech. The game ends with Hull and Oates teaming up with another bit of magic. But it's not enough. The Blues lose 4-3, and the guys from Joe Louis Arena are now poised to deliver a knockout punch, leading the series in a commanding way 3-1.
It's 3-1. You don't win. You go home and play golf, and that's all it is to it. Your backs are against the wall. It's do or die. Go out and play, and you find out a lot about yourself and the rest of your guys.
Better up, tripped up by Hall, a backhander. St. Randall rebound, they score! Back at the arena, it's do or die for the Blues. But after an early Detroit goal, Brian's boys explode, turning this one into a blowout. Around him in, a shot! He scores! What a goal by Brett Hall!
Well, it's good for us because, we needed some production, and we kept the goals out, and it was kind of a weird game. It was over in the second period, and one of those ones that was just kind of the big boys took over in the third.
Chase gets into a fight here. With the Blues holding a commanding lead, the third period gets ugly, looking like something out of WrestleMania 7. But the Blues deliver the biggest blow of all, winning 6-1 in a game marred by some 300 minutes in penalties.
That's not hockey to me, and that's a joke as far as I'm concerned, no matter who starts it or who's involved. To me, that's a joke. That's not hockey, and we'll go out, we'll play Game 6, see what happens.
Our left wing to Dave Tomlinson, good chance, he shoots, he scores!
A few days ago, Dave Tomlinson was playing in Peoria, but tonight he answers the Blues' call for help with a first-period tally, giving the team a lead it would never relinquish. The Blues and Riendeau pitch a shutout in Detroit, tying the series and setting the stage for the all-important Game 7. Save of the game, maybe the series. Game 7. The arena in St. Louis is filled to the rafters with Blues fans watching, waiting, and praying. Late in the second period, it's tied at 1. Now it's a question of who will blink first. He's got a break on right wing and alone, a shot. He scores! Brett Hall! And the Blues lead 2-1. Rich Sutter's goal in the third period looks like the clincher. but the Wings haven't quit all series, and tonight's no exception. Jimmy Carson makes it 3-2 late in the game, but the Blues hang tough, becoming only the 8th team in the history of the National Hockey League to overcome a 3-1 deficit.
Stevens knocked it away.
7 games, 21 periods, hundreds of hockey memories. Round 1 brings victory to Bryan and his Blues. It's a big step in the long journey down the road to Lord Stanley's silverware.
It was quite a series, and now the Stars are up next. Also coming up next here on our special Gateway to the Cup, Bernie Federko talks with Blues coach Brian Sutter. Welcome back to our pregame special Gateway to the Cup. The Blues win the first round in 7 games, and the architect of that come-from-behind win is Blues coach Brian Sutter. He spent a dozen years as a player with Bernie Federko, and now Bernie talks with the Blues' third-year coach.
I mean, their goals against average is almost the same as yours. Where do you think your team is better, Brian?
We've got a hockey club that firmly believes if they stick to the game plan, every one of them, they're going to be successful. And everybody's willing to play that way. And they believe in that, and they believe that if they're persevering or persistent in sticking to the game plan, they're going to have success because they've had it all year. And Minnesota has certainly found that in the latter stages of the season and in the past round of playoffs. There's a lot of similarities in the two hockey clubs. I think they've got some more skilled people up front, so we've obviously got to wear them down and be a little bit persistent in what we want to do as far as finishing checks. But we certainly got to be very disciplined. That's one team. If you talk about similarities, Bernie, they're two very disciplined hockey clubs.
I know when we played, this is one team that you always hated, with the North Stars. Does that give you a little extra incentive? Are the guys going to feel that in the locker room before we go into the series?
I think so, Bernie. You know, it's funny, when you play Chicago, you just love to hate them. You respect them, but you just love to hate them. And Detroit's the same way. And now it's funny you bring it up against Minnesota. You kind of laugh to yourself because yes, that is very true. And you gotta, you respect them, but because they're in their division, they're kind of in the way of where you want to go. And I'm sure they got the same opinion.
Brian, home ice advantage should mean a lot again in this series. I mean, obviously, anybody that says it doesn't mean anything should have been at the game on Tuesday night. So you feel that that's a very important step right now, isn't it, with the home ice advantage?
Yeah, that's right, Bernie. And, we let it slip away the last series, and we had to fight like a son of a gun to get it back. And I think the first game is very important. And again, the pressure is on the home team. We know as players, the pressure is on the home team the first game of the series. If you go into the other team's building, that you can force them into doing some things, but at the same time, momentum is a big, big word in the playoffs. And right now, we got that going our way, and our guys believe in what's going on, and our fans have been absolutely instrumental and tremendous in helping us accomplish what we want to achieve, because they're as big a part of it as we are. And I don't know if I've ever heard them as loud. I think going back to when we played Calgary, Bernie, in Game 6 the one year, I haven't heard them that loud until the last couple of games, and they're a big asset to have.
Coming up, we'll take an up-close look at the professor, Ron Caron, the general manager of the St. Louis Blues. Our special feature, Gateway to the Cup, continues. We're about 15 minutes away from Game 1 of the Norris Division Finals between the Blues and Minnesota North Stars. Now it's time to take a look at the man they call the Professor, Ron Caron. Since he arrived in 1983, he's made 50 trades, so he's been a busy man. And let's look at Ron Caron.
Go, Gino! Go, Gino! Come on! Shove the puck! Come on, Tuttle! Come on, Steve! Block the middle!
For Blues general manager Ron Caron, it's a game of life and death, not just hockey. This contest last year against the Rangers is a typical Caron performance. Screams of encouragement and disgust pelt the ice like powerful verbal slap shots.
Watch out! Watch out! Get in there!
The man known as the Professor comes to play each and every night, gyrating with every check, punch, shot, and goal from his private box high above the arena ice. But when it's time to celebrate, the Professor leads the way, cheering his boys on to victory. The man whose life revolves around hockey begins his days earlier than most.
This past Tuesday, Ron Caron could be found eating breakfast with friends at a Southside restaurant. He climbed out of bed at 4 a.m., unable to sleep. In about 12 hours, the Blues will battle the Wings in Game 7 of the playoffs. So it's not surprising that hockey over easy was the main course served at this meal.
The referee tonight this is a guy who's fed up with violence. Jacques Lepierre? Yeah, he wants to wish me good luck. That's my buddy.
Back at the office, the good luck calls from hockey well-wishers start early.
That's my buddy, and he's at work right now, 10:15 at the Forum. Hello. Hey, comment ça va?
This office setting contains few mementos from Ron Caron's rich hockey heritage. Sure, there were Cup winners in Montreal, but his Blues are on a quest of their own, and tonight's step is a big step indeed.
You don't want to build up nervousness because the soul dictates how you feel.
On the ice, the Blues zip through practice, loosening muscles and minds in preparation for their showdown with Detroit. And not too far away stands the professor, talking enthusiastically with scouts and sports writers about this evening's upcoming final exam.
I think they realize the importance of the game. They don't look tight, but they wish probably the game would start in 5 minutes. Look at this.
Good to see you.
One day I got bodyguards, and then I got these two. I can't shake down.
It's less than an hour before game time, and a jovial Caron jokes with all who cross his path as he journeys to his private box. On the ice, the Wings and Blues get ready to go. But up here, the Blues general manager is ready. His demeanor is calm, but then there's always a calm before a storm.
To Quinn, right in, a shot, he scores! Now to Fedorov, right point, Racine, a shot, blocked another drive, and they score! Here's Oates, a great pass to Hall. He's got a break on right wing, and alone, a shot, he scores!
Come on, Paul! Attaboy, Paul! That's going to go, Paul!
With less than 10 minutes left in the Blues-Wings 7th game, this private box once again explodes with energy. Caron is busy checking, shooting, and shouting his Blues to victory in a game that's too close for comfort.
Let's go! Come on! Come on! Watch out! Watch out! 9 seconds!
Blue Scout Ted Hampson and various personal friends join Caron in his never-ending struggle to achieve victory. At last, it's over. The professor and his pupils pass their biggest test to date. And while the Blues celebrate on the ice, their happy architect does the same. A day that began at 4 a.m. won't end until past midnight. But now Ron Caron walks tall as he rushes to greet his team. Small steps are taken here. A big one was taken tonight. And this man plans to keep on walking until he finds the Stanley Cup.
It's more than a dream, it's a vision. But when you're ready, you're ready.
Special thanks to Bud Sports producer Jim Duff for that in-depth look at Ron Caron. They really threw the mold away when they made Ron Caron. Well, the man who's molded the Blues organization since 1987, Chairman Mike Shanahan. He's standing by with our own Bernie Federko. Gateway to the Cup continues live at the arena moments before Game 1. The Blues and North Stars, and downstairs is Bernie Federko with Blues Chairman Mike Shanahan.
Thanks, John. Yes, I am. And no question in my mind, the best-dressed owner in the National Hockey League. Mr. Shanahan, I've played many times golf with you, and I know you're very competitive now. I want to know exactly how did you feel after you were down 3-1 in that last series?
I felt down, Bernie, but not out. This team has been so strong and consistent all year. I felt that if we could just get one game under our belt and get on the right track, we could make a comeback. I never gave up hope or faith in our team. I felt any time we step on the ice, we have a chance to win. I was down, but we were not out.
This series, you think it's going to be a quick one or not?
I don't really think so. If we learned anything from the first series, it's that don't take anything for granted. Just go out there and play hard every single night, and maybe things will work out for you. I look for a very exciting series for the fans, and it could go 7 very easily.
Well, thanks, Mr. Shanahan. Good luck to your club. I'm sure they'll do well.
Thank you.
John, back upstairs to you.
All right, Bernie, it should be a great series. The Blues and North Stars, Game 1 of the Norris Finals. It's coming up next.
Tonight's St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup Playoff Special has been brought to you by your Greater St. Louis Nissan dealers. They're right on the money. By your local Snapper dealers. By Taco Bell. Now with 3 great menus for just $59.79 or 99 cents. Run for the border. And by your Greater St. Louis Ford dealers on both sides of the river.